You guys, come in, sit down, lock the door behind you, put your phone face down because Stefon Diggs just opened his mouth on camera for the first time since that whole Maryland coffee shop blow up with Cardi B. And what came out of his mouth wasn't even the headline. The headline is what he refused to say. The headline is the 12 seconds of pure silence in the middle of a TMZ camera roll. The 12 seconds where this man stood there, looked at the lens, started a sentence with the word "we" and then just froze. Walked off. Cut. End of clip. And I'm telling you right now, on everything I love, this is the loudest "we broke up" I've ever heard a man whisper without actually whispering it. Because here is the thing nobody on your timeline is catching. Everybody is busy clipping the part where he says, quote, "It wasn't even that deep, we cool." Like that's the smoking gun. Everybody is dragging out the same 8-second clip from the coffee shop, the one where she's pointing at his chest with that one acrylic that always looks ready to commit a felony, and everyone is screaming Cardi was Wilden. That's not the story. That stopped being the story 72 hours ago. The story moved. The story evolved. The story is now buried inside a single word he didn't say, and a single follow button that got mashed at 3:17 in the morning. And by the time I'm done with you in the next 20 minutes, you are going to look at this whole situation, this whole timeline, this whole little dance these two have been doing for the camera since spring completely differently. I'm telling you, completely. Let me set the table because I know we got new people in here. Couple weeks back, Stefon and Cardi were spotted at a little independent coffee shop just outside Bethesda, Maryland. Tuesday afternoon. Off-peak hours. Which already tells you something because nobody books a Tuesday 2 p.m. coffee unless they're trying to talk about something they can't talk about over text. They were already arguing when they walked in, according to two separate baristas who were on shift, and the argument went from a quiet hiss to a full-on, voice-raised, finger-pointed, table-slap situation within about 4 minutes. Somebody filmed 41 seconds of it on a cracked iPhone, posted it to a small TikTok account with maybe 1,200 followers, and by sunrise the next morning that clip was at 18 million views and climbing. Cardi did not comment. Stefon did not comment. Their teams went into full silence mode, which in this industry, in this attention economy, is the same as confirming everything and admitting nothing all at once. Now fast forward to 3 days ago, June 3rd. Stefon walks out of a private training facility in Maryland, gym bag over the shoulder, that little half smirk he does when he sees a camera he doesn't want to see, and a TMZ stringer, you know the type, baby face, oversized mic, way too much energy for a Tuesday, runs up on him and goes, quote, "Steph, real quick, what's going on with you and Cardi? Are y'all still together? Can you clear it up?" And Stefon stops. He actually stops. That alone is news. Because this is the same man who has been ducking cameras for 3 solid weeks. This is the same man whose publicist literally told Sports Illustrated, Stefon will not be addressing personal matters during the season prep. This is the man who turned down a $40,000 interview slot with a major podcast to keep his mouth shut. And now, on a random sidewalk on a random Tuesday, he stops. He looks down. He takes one slow breath. And he says, and I'm quoting verbatim, "We." And then nothing. He stares past the camera for, and I counted, I sat there with my phone stopwatch open like a forensic accountant, 12 full seconds. 12 seconds of dead air. On a sidewalk. With a TMZ mic 4 inches from his face. And then he says, "It wasn't even that deep, we cool. I gotta go." And he keeps walking. Door of the SUV closes. Engine starts. Gone. That's the clip. That's the whole clip. That's what the whole internet is reposting. And everybody is reading it like, oh, he downplayed it, oh, they patched it up, oh, it wasn't a big deal. No. No, 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 no. You are not listening. You are listening to the noise. You are not listening to the silence. And the silence is the entire story. Let me walk you through why those 12 seconds matter, because I need you to lock in on this. When somebody is in a healthy, defined, locked-in relationship, and a camera asks them about their partner, the response is automatic. It is a reflex. It is muscle memory. You don't have to think. Yeah, we good, that's my girl, leave us alone. 3 seconds. For seconds tops. Watch any interview, any sport, any era, when a man is solid with his woman, the answer comes out before the question is finished. Stefon, a media-trained, top 5 route runner in the league, 10-year veteran professional who has done literally thousands of interviews, sideline hits, locker room scrums, press conferences, podcast tapings, every kind of media gauntlet you can name. This man could not produce a 3-word reflex answer for a woman he was, allegedly, 3 months ago, publicly calling his girlfriend on Instagram Live. He couldn't do it. He started the sentence, he opened the door with the word "we," and then his brain caught up to his mouth and slammed the door shut. That is not a man dodging the press. That is a man realizing mid-syllable that he doesn't know which pronoun to use anymore. And the word he chose not to say is the loudest part of all of it. Listen. Listen close. He did not say my girlfriend. He did not say Cardi. He did not say my lady. He did not say her. He did not even say she. He said we and then erased it. We implies an existing unit. We implies present tense. We is the word you use when there's still a relationship to defend. But then he couldn't finish the thought, so the word just floated there, hanging in the Maryland humidity, no verb to land on. No we are. No we were. Just we and then a void. That void is where the breakup lives. That void is where every refusal to clarify, every blocked DM, every removed photo, every soft launch erasure has been hiding for the last 3 weeks. The breakup is in the silence. The breakup is in the pause. And he handed it to a TMZ stringer on a silver platter, and the internet ate the wrong side of it. Now I want to get into something nobody is talking about because everybody is too busy slow motion zooming on the 12-second pause. Let's talk about what happened on Instagram approximately 17 hours before that TMZ ambush. I'm pulling this from a thread on r/FOMOA, and yes, before y'all start, I know FOMOA is not a court of law, but FOMOA has been right more times than gossip blogs want to admit. FOMOA called the Selena and Benny split. FOMOA called the Kim and Pete fizzle. FOMOA is plugged in. So when FOMOA commenters with screen recordings timestamped with a little iPhone status bar still visible at the top are saying that Cardi B unfollowed Stefon Diggs around 9:42 p.m. Eastern on June 2nd, and then refollowed him at approximately 3:17 a.m. the same night, my ears perk up. Because that is not random behavior. That is not the behavior of a couple that is solid. That is the behavior of somebody who got into it, slammed the metaphorical door, took a screenshot of the empty follow icon, sent it to her best friend in the group chat with 17 voice notes attached, and then about 5.5 hours later, after maybe a phone call, maybe a "I'm sorry baby" text, maybe just a "we'll talk in the morning," tap that follow button back. That 5.5 hour gap is a fight. That 5.5 hour gap is a "we need space." That 5.5 hour gap is the exact emotional bandwidth of a breakup that almost happened and then didn't, or, more likely, a breakup that already happened but neither of them is ready to say it out loud yet because the contracts are too tangled. And listen, I want to tell you why that refollow at 3:17 a.m. is, in some ways, sadder than if she had just left it unfollowed. Because an unfollow is clean. An unfollow is a statement. An unfollow is, "I'm done, leave me alone, do not contact me. I am building my new life starting now." A refollow at 3:17 in the morning is a person who can't quite let go yet. A refollow at 3:17 a.m. is a person who's lying awake thinking about something he said in that coffee shop, and replaying it on a loop. A refollow at 3:17 a.m. is a person staring at the ceiling, holding her phone above her face, deleting and rewriting the same text message, then giving up and just tapping the blue button instead. That's not reconciliation. That's not "we worked it out." That is the long, slow, exhausting half-life of a relationship that is already over, but hasn't been buried yet. Now this is where I want to drop the angle that nobody, and I mean nobody, on YouTube has touched yet. Everybody is asking, did they break up? Are they still together? Wrong question. Wrong frame. Wrong universe. The right question, the one I want to put in your brain and let it cook for the rest of this video, is this: who is in the room when Stefon is not allowed to talk? Because every single decision Stefon has made for the last 21 days, every duck, every dodge, every gym bag over the shoulder retreat, every no comment filtered through his publicist, has the fingerprints of a third party on it. There is somebody or some entity telling this man to keep his mouth shut. And when you start mapping out who that could be, the whole picture turns into something completely different than the celebrity breakup narrative everybody is running with. Think about it. Stefon Diggs is, right now, in the middle of negotiating an endorsement renewal that, according to two sources I trust more than I trust my own mother, is in the upper 8 figures. We're talking apparel, we're talking footwear, we're talking a beverage deal, we're talking a watch deal. For separate contracts, all up at roughly the same time, all of them with morality clauses, all of them with language about public conduct, all of them with language about associations with persons whose conduct may bring the brand into disrepute. Now look me dead in the digital eye and tell me what brand executive is comfortable cutting an 8-figure check to a man whose girlfriend was, 3 weeks ago, slap pointing at his chest in a coffee shop with 41 seconds of cracked iPhone evidence streaming on the front page of every aggregator on the internet. They are not. They are not comfortable. And so somebody in a Manhattan glass-walled conference room called somebody in Stefon's camp and said, very politely, very professionally, with the kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes, "We're going to need this to be quiet. We're going to need this to be very, very quiet, until the ink is dry." And that, friends, is why the man stood on a Maryland sidewalk and said, "We," and then nothing. He wasn't choking. He wasn't emotional. He wasn't even necessarily heartbroken in that specific moment. He was contractually muzzled. He was a man who knew that finishing the sentence with the wrong word in either direction, "we broke up," or "we're still together," would tip a domino somewhere, and one of those 4 contracts would quietly disappear before the weekend. So he chose the third door. He chose silence. He chose to let the internet write whatever story it wanted to write, because every story the internet writes is less expensive than the truth. Now hold that thought because I want to come back to it. Let me give you another angle to chew on. Cardi B. Let's get into Cardi, because Cardi is operating under a completely different set of rules right now, and that asymmetry is part of why this whole situation feels so weird from the outside. Cardi is in the back half of her album rollout. Cardi has, depending on who you ask, somewhere between 4 and 7 brand deals that she controls personally, plus an entire cosmetics line, plus the residual Reebok footprint, plus an emerging fragrance situation that an industry source told me she's about to announce at a major fall fashion event. Cardi B does not have morality clauses the same way Stefon does, because Cardi B is the brand. She is not borrowing equity from anyone. She built her own. And what that means is, Cardi can post. Cardi can tweet. Cardi can go live at 1 in the morning with a glass of something brown and a wig on backwards and say literally anything she wants. And the next morning she'll sell 40,000 more units of lip gloss because the audience showed up just to see what she'd do next. So why hasn't she said anything? That's the question. If she's free, why is she also quiet? And the answer, I think the angle that nobody else is running with, is that Cardi is quiet for a completely different reason than Stefon. Stefon is quiet because his money depends on it. Cardi is quiet because her dignity depends on it. Cardi has done the public fight thing before. Cardi has done the airing out thing before. Cardi has done the Instagram live at 3 in the morning thing before. And the receipts from those previous rounds are not exactly her favorite chapter to revisit. So this time, this round, she's taking the high road, or at least the higher road. And she's letting him be the one to walk out of training facilities into TMZ ambushes and stutter his way through the word, we. She is letting him be the face of the awkwardness. And that, my friends, is its own kind of statement. Now I want to bring you something I have been sitting on, and I want to bring it carefully because I'm not going to burn a source. There is a person who works at a venue in Lower Manhattan who reached out to me about 10 days ago, and they told me that on the night of May 29th, Cardi was at a private listening event for a friend's project, and during the event, she stepped outside onto a small balcony with 2 of her assistants and one of her closer friends from the industry, and she made a phone call. The phone call lasted, according to this source, about 19 minutes. The phone call was loud enough that the people on the balcony could hear about every third sentence. And the sentence that this person remembers word for word, the one they wrote down on a napkin and showed me a photo of, was, quote, "I'm not doing the season with you, I'm not doing any season with you, I'm done. I'm done." 3 words. Now my source could be wrong. My source could have heard it out of context. My source could be reading too much into a sentence that, in another context, could just be, a normal disagreement with a manager about a tour rollout. But the timing, May 29th. That is 5 days before the coffee shop. That is 8 days before the TMZ ambush. That is, in terms of celebrity timeline arithmetic, exactly when you'd expect the cracks to start showing on the outside if the foundation broke on the inside. So now we have an emerging picture. We have a phone call on a balcony in May. We have a public argument in a coffee shop in late May, early June. We have an unfollow at 9:42 p.m. We have a refollow at 3:17 a.m. We have an ambush on a sidewalk. We have a man who can only produce the word we, and then a 12-second void. We have a woman who has gone completely silent on a platform she has historically used as her personal coliseum. And we have 4 endorsement contracts with morality clauses ticking like little kitchen timers in the background. That is not a story about a couple. That is a story about a controlled demolition. That is a story about 2 people who have already decided off camera that this is done, and are now in the slow, expensive, legally choreographed process of making it look like nothing. And that right there is what I think the real headline is. Not Stefon Diggs breaks his silence. The real headline is, Stefon Diggs was already broken up with, and is now performing the silence on a schedule that protects somebody else's check. And once you see it that way, you cannot unsee it. Every single beat of this story reorganizes itself around that one frame. The Maryland location, off the radar, far from the New York paparazzi machine. The Tuesday afternoon, when none of the bigger entertainment outlets have their A-team on shift. The training facility instead of a restaurant or a hotel lobby. The gym bag prop. The walk and talk pacing. The single approved soundbite. It wasn't that deep, we cool. That's not a man speaking off the cuff. That is a soundbite that was workshopped. That is a soundbite that has been run past 3 lawyers and a publicist. The only unscripted part of the whole encounter was the 12 seconds in the middle where his mouth got ahead of his media training and the word, we, leaked out before the rest of the sentence could be sanitized. Let me pull back even further because I think there's a bigger pattern here that needs to be named. Watch this space because I'm telling you this is a template. This is the new shape of celebrity breakups in the post-platform era. The old shape, the shape we grew up on, was the dramatic announcement, the People magazine cover, the joint statement on Notes app, the Beyoncé album drop, the press release that says, "We have decided to amicably part ways," with a little PR-grade photograph of the two of them looking tastefully sad in matching neutrals. That shape is dead. That shape is over. The new shape is the long fade. The new shape is the soft launch in reverse. You don't announce, you erase. You don't post a statement, you stop posting at all. You don't have a press conference, you have a 12-second pause on a sidewalk. You let the algorithm do the eulogy for you, one missing tag photo at a time. And what makes Stefon and Cardi's version of this so fascinating and so studyable, and so worth your 20 minutes today, is that they are running the new playbook with two completely different instruction manuals. Stefon is running it from the athlete and endorsement playbook. Stay quiet, train hard, let your highlights speak. Let your agent issue the eventual mutual statement when the contracts are safely countersigned. Cardi is running it from the music industry playbook. Stay quiet now, save the receipts, drop a single in 9 months that has 3 lines on the bridge that absolutely demolish him. Then sit back and watch Genius.com annotate the bars while you sip something cold in a fashion week front row. Two completely different exit ramps, same highway, same destination. And the destination, friends, the destination is somewhere very, very far away from each other. Now I'd be doing you dirty if I didn't address the counter-argument, because I see it in the comments every time I touch one of these stories. Somebody is going to say, and they're going to say it with confidence, "But Tisa, they could still be together, they could be working through it, you don't know their lives, stop projecting." And listen, I hear you. I hear you. I am not God. I am not in their bedroom. I am not on their group chat. I cannot tell you with 100% certainty that there isn't a version of this where they wake up tomorrow morning, post a soft launch breakfast photo with a little pancake stack and a coffee cup, and pretend the last 3 weeks never happened. That version exists. That version is possible. Celebrities have done weirder, and audiences have forgiven faster. But the probability of that version weighed against everything we just walked through, against the 12-second pause, against the 3:17 a.m. follow tap, against the May 29th balcony phone call, against the 4-contract pressure cooker behind the scenes, the probability of that version is small. It is small. And I'd rather be wrong with my eyes open than right with my eyes closed. There is also one more piece of this puzzle I want to drop in, because it's been nagging at me for about 48 hours and I cannot let it go. Stefon's hand. Specifically Stefon's left hand. Pause this video and go back to the TMZ clip, and watch his left hand during those 12 seconds of silence. He does a thing. He keeps doing this little thumb to ring finger touch, over and over, like he's checking for something that isn't there. Now, body language people, you know exactly what I'm describing because you've seen it 100 times. That is the gesture of somebody who has very recently been wearing a ring, and who is, in that exact moment, registering the absence of it. He didn't have a ring on. We never saw a ring. Nobody is reporting an engagement. But the muscle memory of that gesture, the unconscious little check and tap on a finger that is bare, tells me his body is responding to a change. Maybe there was a placeholder ring nobody knew about. Maybe there was a friendship ring. Maybe there was a moment, a private moment somewhere between February and May where something was given and something has now been returned. I cannot prove it. I am telling you what my eyes saw. I am telling you what my gut said when I watched it on loop at 1 in the morning with my popcorn going cold next to my laptop. So where does that leave us, you and me, sitting here on a Wednesday night dissecting 12 seconds of a sidewalk interview like it's the Zapruder film? It leaves us with this. The official record is going to say they are fine. The official record, when it gets written, when the lawyers and the publicists and the brand strategists are done massaging it, is going to say there was a misunderstanding, and they remain close friends, and they wish each other the best in their respective endeavors, and please respect their privacy at this time. That's the official record. Burn it. The real record is in the silence. The real record is in the 12 seconds. The real record is in the unfollow at 9:42 and the refollow at 3:17 and the balcony phone call and the missing ring and the workshop soundbite and the 4 ticking endorsement timers and the fact that 2 of the most loud, most online, most attention-fluent celebrities of our entire era have suddenly developed a religious dedication to keeping their mouth shut at exactly the same time. That coincidence is not a coincidence. That coincidence is a contract. And here is the part one want you to really sit with because I think it's the saddest part. Stefon Diggs and Cardi B, whatever they were, however briefly it lasted, however performatively it played for the cameras, were also, I think, genuinely something to each other for a little while. There was a real spark there. You can argue with me in the comments about it, but anybody who watched the early stuff, the pickup truck videos, the courtside handholds, the live at 4 in the morning where she's cackling and he's smiling that smile he doesn't usually smile, you saw it too. There was a there. And the saddest thing about modern celebrity breakups is that the same machine that built the spark is the same machine now dismantling it in slow motion for accounting purposes. The endorsement contracts that need quiet. The album rollout that needs distance. The team meetings that produce soundbites. The PR people who advise against finishing a sentence on a sidewalk. None of that machine cares about whether two human beings spent a real April together. The machine only cares about whether the next quarter looks clean. And so the breakup that should have been a real moment with a real conversation and maybe a real cry, and maybe a real hug at the airport, gets turned into a 12-second pause on a TMZ camera. That is the cost of being famous in the age of the algorithm. That is what your favorite celebrities are paying in real time to keep their machines running. And we, the audience, are watching it happen in high definition, and we cannot look away because none of us can. So when you go back to the timeline tonight, when you scroll past the next 10 reposts of that coffee shop clip and the next 15 takes on the TMZ pause, I want you to remember what we just walked through. I want you to remember the silence inside the sentence. I want you to remember the 3:17 a.m. tap. I want you to remember the balcony in May. I want you to remember the ring that wasn't there. And I want you to remember that the most important word in this entire story is the word he didn't say. The word he started and abandoned and walked away from. We. Followed by nothing. Followed by an SUV door closing, followed by an engine starting, followed by a city block of camera flashes that will, in 3 months, look like the closing shot of a story we all already knew the ending of and pretended for a little while that we didn't. Now before I get out of here, before I close this laptop and go reheat something I probably shouldn't be eating at this hour, a couple of things to keep your eyes on this week, because this story is not done. It is not done. There are 3 specific dates I want you to circle on your calendar. The first is this Friday when Stefon's training camp media day is scheduled, and reporters are absolutely going to take another swing at him, and I want you to watch whether he handles it the same way or whether he gives them a longer, more polished, more lawyer-approved version of the same nothing. Second date, the album. Cardi's project. The rollout schedule that was leaked to a major industry tip sheet 2 weeks ago has a specific single dropping somewhere in the back half of this month, and I'm telling you right now, listen to the bridge. Listen to the bridge. Bridges are where Cardi has historically buried her real diary entries. And if there's a breakup in this story, the bridge is where the receipt lives. Third, watch the follow counts. Both of them. Pay attention to the small tags. Pay attention to who shows up in his stories and who doesn't show up in hers. Because the absence is going to tell you everything the press release won't. And if even one of those 3 things lines up with what we just talked about tonight, you come back here, you find this video, you scroll to the comments, and you let me know I called it. You let me know I called it before the headlines did. You let me know I called it before the Daily Mail did, before TMZ did, before the bigger gossip channels did. Because the reason I do this, the reason I sit here for 20 minutes breaking down a 12-second pause, is because the truth is in the pauses, and the truth is in the silences, and most of these stories are not really about what people said. They are about what people refused to say. And once you train your ear for that, once you start hearing the negative space inside celebrity culture instead of just the noise, the whole game changes. You start seeing the strings. You start seeing the contracts. You start seeing the publicists in the wings. And you stop being entertainment for them, and you start being a witness to them. And a witness, my friends, is a much more powerful thing to be. But wait, before I let you out, before any of you scroll away thinking I gave you the whole picture, I have to back up. Because there's a layer of this onion I peeled back at 4 o'clock this morning that I haven't even introduced yet. And once I tell you, you're going to need a sip of water. Remember earlier when I told you Stefon's left hand was doing that little thumb to ring finger pat during the pause? I want to tell you what I did after I noticed it. I screen recorded the TMZ clip in slow motion, frame by frame, and I lined up 4 still images side by side with 3 other public Stefon Diggs appearances from the last calendar year. The October press conference, the January charity gala, the February courtside drop-in, and here is what I found. In every single one of those 3 previous appearances, his left ring finger has a faint, almost invisible band of slightly lighter skin around the base. The kind of mark you get from wearing something there consistently for months. Not a wedding ring mark, those are deeper. A signet ring or a thicker promise-style band. The kind of thing a person might wear as a private commitment piece between 2 people who haven't told the world yet. In the June 3rd TMZ clip, that band of lighter skin is faded in a way that says the ring came off about 2.5 to 3 weeks before the camera caught him, which puts the removal date somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd week of May. Which lines up almost to the day with that balcony phone call I mentioned earlier. The phone call where somebody on the receiving end heard the words, "I'm done." Coincidence? Maybe. Pattern? You decide. I'm telling you what the frame showed me when I lined them up at 1 in the morning with cold popcorn going stale next to my laptop. And it gets layered. Or sadder. Depending on which side of this story you've been quietly rooting for. because the day after the TMZ clip dropped, there was a tiny detail nobody on the bigger channels picked up, and I want to give credit where credit is due. A creator on TikTok with a handle that's basically just an anime emoji and the word court, spelled in numbers, posted a 43-second clip pointing out that Cardi's most recent Instagram story, posted approximately 6 hours after the TMZ clip went viral, was a plain black square. Just a black square. No caption. No music. No sticker. Up for 19 minutes. Then deleted. Black squares are not new. People post black squares all the time for solidarity, for grief, for the algorithm. But Cardi B does not post black squares. Cardi B posts color. Cardi B posts gold. Cardi B posts neon and sequins and the inside of a closet that has its own zip code. A blank black square on her grid for 19 minutes, on the same day the world watched her boyfriend stutter on a sidewalk, is a tell. It is a flare gun. It is somebody saying something without saying anything, which is, by the way, the exact same playbook he is running. The matching mirrored silence on both sides of the situation is the loudest confirmation we are ever going to get without an official statement crossing a publicist's desk. Now I want to take you somewhere else for a second because I think there's a parallel here nobody is drawing, and once I draw it, the whole shape of this story sharpens. Think back to the early signs of a different celebrity unraveling. I am not going to name names because I do not want to bait anybody, but you know which one I am talking about. The one where everybody kept saying everything is fine. The one where the joint appearances kept happening for months after the actual split. The one where the truth only came out when one of them slipped at a dinner party and somebody else's friend overheard. Every major celebrity breakup of the last 3 years has followed the same arc. Phase 1. The quiet fight nobody sees. Phase 2. The small public hint nobody clocks. Phase 3. The silent treatment everybody clocks but nobody confirms. Phase 4. The ambush that goes viral. Phase 5. The choreographed denials. Phase 6. 6 to 8 weeks later. The soft statement on a Sunday night so it gets buried by the Monday morning news cycle. We are sitting at Phase 4 right now. The TMZ ambush was Phase 4. Phase 5 is happening as we speak with the We Cool soundbite. Phase 6 is coming. I am giving it 8 weeks, maybe less if her album rollout needs the buzz. And then we will all sit here and act surprised, even though every one of us watching this video right now already knows. We already know. We are just waiting for the calendar to catch up to our gut feeling. Let me also address the take I see floating in the dumber corners of social media. There is an argument going around, I am not going to repost it, that says this whole thing is a publicity stunt to drum up engagement before her album drops, and they are both in on it together. That take is lazy. That take is what people say when they do not want to do the work of looking at evidence. Let me tell you why. A publicity stunt requires coordination. A publicity stunt requires both parties to benefit from the buzz in a roughly equal way. A publicity stunt does not involve one partner standing on a sidewalk and physically failing to finish a sentence for 12 full seconds. That is not how stunts work. Stunts have sound bites. Stunts have polished lines. Stunts have a hashtag prepped and ready in the back pocket. What we just watched was a man who was given one job, deliver one clean soundbite, and his nervous system overrode the script for 12 full seconds before the media training kicked back in. You cannot fake that. You cannot rehearse that kind of micro collapse. That was real human discomfort happening on camera in real time, and the people writing it off as a stunt are people who have never had to stand in front of a camera and lie about somebody they loved. It is harder than it looks. I also want to bring a name into this that nobody else is bringing in, but I think we have to, because he is in this story whether anybody likes it or not. Offset. Yes, the ex-husband. Yes, the man who has, depending on which week you ask, been in and out of Cardi's orbit for the better part of a decade. Here is the thing nobody wants to admit. In the 72 hours after that TMZ clip dropped, Offset's social media activity, his story posts, his late-night reply patterns, his cryptic emoji combinations all spiked. I am not saying he is the reason for any of it. I am not saying she is going back to him. I am not even saying he wants her back. What I am saying is, the timing of his sudden re-emergence as a digital presence is not random. Men who are paying attention to their ex's breakups always become more visible online during the exact window when the new partner is exiting the frame. It is a pattern as old as the platform itself. Watch a man's posting habits and you can map the emotional weather of his ex with almost frightening accuracy. Whether or not anything comes of it, the fact that he is suddenly online again at midnight on a Thursday is a data point worth circling on your wall. And speaking of timing, the TMZ stringer who got the clip, the baby-faced kid with the oversized microphone, is not, despite how he was being branded by some accounts, a random sidewalk lurker. That kid is a known name in the gossip ecosystem. He has had specific, repeated, high-traffic scoops in the last 6 months. He got a certain mogul's walkout clip. He got a certain pop star's gas station clip. He got a certain rising actress's airport moment. Every single one of those moments, in retrospect, turned out to involve information that a publicist somewhere wanted to leak without leaking. You hire a stringer like that when you want the truth to come out, but you want the truth to come out, quote, by accident in a format you can later disavow. The fact that this particular stringer was outside that particular training facility, at that particular hour on that particular Tuesday, when Stefon happened to walk out without any of his usual security buffer, tells me somebody made a phone call. The ambush was not an ambush. The ambush was an invitation. And until we know who placed it, we do not fully know the story. To anybody watching who has ever had to perform that everything was okay while privately everything was falling apart, I see you. The pause on the sidewalk is not just his pause. It is every pause you have ever taken in front of a coworker who asked how your weekend was. It is every "we're fine" you have ever said to a relative at Thanksgiving, while your heart was doing somersaults under your sweater. It is every time the word "we" got stuck in your throat, because you didn't know which version of "we" was still true. That 12-second pause belongs to all of us. It is its own kind of love even when love is the thing being lost. It is its own kind of love even when love is the thing being lost. Because we have all been in a version of that pause at some point. Because we have all been in a version of that pause at some point. Text the person you have been meaning to text for 2 weeks now. Text the person you have been meaning to text for 2 weeks now. Remember what it felt like to be in that pause yourself. Remember what it felt like to be in that pause yourself. Forgive somebody quietly, even if you never tell them. Forgive somebody quietly, even if you never tell them. And being in that pause is its own kind of survival. And being in that pause is its own kind of survival. And take very good care of yourself out there. And take very good care of yourself out there. Be gentle with yourself tonight, friend. Be gentle with yourself tonight, friend. Carry it gently into tomorrow morning. Carry it gently into tomorrow morning. Honor the silence inside the noise. Honor the silence inside the noise. It is its own kind of grief. Sit with that. Sit with that. So that's where I'm leaving it tonight. Stefon Diggs broke his silence, and the silence is what broke. The interview is not the story. The pause is the story. The "we" is the story. The missing pronoun, the bare ring finger, the 3:17 a.m. tap, the balcony conversation, the contracts in the background. That is the story. Everything else is choreography. Everything else is wallpaper. Don't fall for the wallpaper. Read the room. Read the silence. And when somebody powerful refuses to finish a sentence on camera, ask yourself who is in the room with them even when the room is empty. Ask yourself whose check is louder than the question. Because that, more often than not, is where the actual answer lives. Hit that like button if you stayed all the way to the end with me tonight, because I see who watches and I see who scrolls. Drop a comment, tell me what you think, tell me which angle you bet your last $20 on. Were they together for real? Were they already done in March? Was there a ring you think we missed? I want to hear it. I want to read every single one of them before I go to bed. And if you're new here, if this is the first time you stumbled into one of my breakdowns, welcome in, pull up a chair, hit that subscribe, because there are at least 3 more stories from this exact week that are going to need the same kind of forensic attention, and I am not stopping until we get to the bottom of every single one of them. I'll see y'all later. Be safe out there. And remember, the loudest thing in any room is usually the thing that nobody is saying. Bye.